Welcome to the Hope After Narcissistic Abuse podcast. I am your host, Amy Helms. Each week, you will hear from experts across the country and even world speak to you on recovering from narcissistic abuse and even how to manage these relationships. You will also hear some periodic solo episodes on how to manage these relationships and what recovery is like. It is my hope that you will leave each episode with some renewed hope that you can and will beat this. Thank you for tuning in. Hi, welcome back to Hope After Narcissistic Abuse. I'm your host, Amy Helms, and I'm so excited today to have Gemma Serenity as our guest. She is an award-winning entrepreneur based in LA, and she has victoriously overcome 15 years of domestic violence, and now she uses her story to help others. And we'll get into all her other stuff because she has done some amazing work. But I thought it would be good to first let her just give a little bit of her story as to her why. As you know, on the episode 1, we talked about the why, and I think that's important for her to be able to tell you.
Thank you so much, Amy, for having me today. I'm really, really grateful. So to give you a very short version, an overview of my life story, I am victorious over 15 years of domestic violence, beaten, put down, raped, almost killed twice, with 2 different stories, one time 5 years, one time 10 years. Similar, even if it was different. At the end of the second series, the second relationship, I honestly became hopeless. There was too much narcissistic abuse, too much hardship, emotional suffering, that I decided that I became hopeless and that the only way out could be suicide. And I was so set on my new wonderful idea, which is absolutely not a full disclaimer. No, this is not a possibility. Because what happens is that even though I did not tell anybody and I did not ask for help to anybody, God intervened in person. And I heard the voice of God speaking to me in French, in my language at that time. And the voice told me, of course you can jump from the 10th floor of the apartment building. It's going to work. But I am going to give you the same life in worse. Is that really what you want? Now, Amy, just listen to the quality of the divine words. I tell you that you have your free agency. I tell you the consequences of your choices. I allow you to make the choice you want. Now you decide. And I said, no. And the voice told me, leave by the door. And this is the only time I was able to leave safely and to flee completely. It was June 15, 2013 at 1:30 a.m. in Switzerland. And from that moment on, I started my healing and transformation journey. I met my third, last, and dream husband, who also happens to be a transformational life specialist, and he helped me discover how the mindset is at the origin of what we think and what we manifest, and how universe works and how life works and how to eat and how everything is linked. I learned all of that during the last decade, and I'm very happy to share hope after narcissistic abuse with you and your audience.
Thank you for sharing that. Hearing that, my first question, you met someone. How did you know that you could trust again?
I did not know. I tried. It could have been wrong. I could have been misled a third time. I was expecting to be misled, to be honest. But I did not imagine life without someone. I did not imagine life alone as a single mother or a single person. I did not envision that as a possibility. I wanted to have someone. And the blessing is that the third one is an angel in flesh for me. That is a blessing. That is a gift of God. But honestly, I did not know, and I could have been wrong all along. I just tried. My heart told me to tell him, I love you, I trust you, but I could have been wrong. There is no magic pill you try. However, the thing that really relieved my fear, because I can tell you I was very scared to start over a relationship, was to realize, because he told me, you know, I'm a healthy-minded person. If you want to leave, you find another apartment, as you are doing anyway now. So instead of continuing your search now, you stay here. And if you want to leave later, you start over your apartment search and you go. I will not stop you. You are free to go whenever you want. And that is something my two ex-husbands never told. They told me, you leave now. Hey, what are you doing? You stay. That kind of things. But not, you are absolutely free to leave. If you want to leave, just go. I love you enough to let you go if this is your choice and it's better for both of us. And that is something that relieved a lot of my fear of starting over a relationship with narcissistic abuse.
Yeah, you didn't have the threats of you'll never make it without me, you'll just all those things. Did you have any other indicators of this is an okay person?
Yes, the feeling that I matter for him, the feeling that I am wonderful in his eyes, feeling seen, heard, acknowledged, feeling that I matter for him. That is so different. Because one of the big things of narcissistic abuse is to not see you, not acknowledge you, not hear you, make you that you don't matter, and being only self-centered and self-focused. That person, my beloved husband, Sasha, he's others focused. So he's the polar opposite of a narcissist. He's completely altruistic. He even sacrificed his entire life in Switzerland to bring me to move to the United States and to start over our life together. He abandoned and sacrificed his entire career. There is a lot of trust into that. And we did not, both of us, we did not have a job waiting for us here or a home waiting for us here. We had to figure it all out. So there was a lot of trust and a lot of, let's do it. I love you enough to give you what you want.
Did that feel weird at first?
Definitely. I was honestly scared at first. And I was torn apart between, I want a love relationship. I cannot have a couple relationship. But I was very clear. I told him what it was about. I told him, love, I say yes to you because I love you anyway. And love means da, 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 da. And I listed all that beautiful love means. And then I told him, but I'm not ready to be a couple with you because couple means da, 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 da. And I listed all the things that I knew about couple, like lying to each other, make believe, trying to cheat on each other, and things like that. And I was here, I cannot go in a couple again, but I'm open to love because I need love. And I have so much love to give. So that was the other thing that put me at ease. He told me, okay, I understand. Now, what you have put on couple, you just erase it. And you put the content of love under couple because this is that kind of couple that I am proposing to you.
Because couple could be the image, the status, what shows up in a picture, arm candy.
Exactly. So it worked out amazingly well. And it still does. And we are 10 years later and we are married and we are happy and life continues.
It's beautiful. That gives, I'm sure, other people listening hope that it's possible.
Yes. Oh, yes, it is possible. What I really want to tell to anybody who needs hope after narcissistic abuse is that, yes, it is possible. It starts by loving yourself and by respecting yourself, by rebuilding your self-image and your self-worth, which has been completely crushed by being the narcissistic supply of someone else, whoever it is. And by building yourself back up, then you become a beautiful magnet attractor of a wonderful person.
Learning more about you, I've seen you've done a lot of work in increasing awareness about this. So breaking the silence around abuse. That's your podcast, right? And what do you do with that in your advocacy work as well?
The reason why I chose breaking the silence around abuse is because my father-in-law, who raped me as an adult, told me after the rape, if you talk, if you speak, you are dead, I am dead. So you do not talk to anybody about that. And I believed him. And the fact of keeping me myself silent and applying that rule actually was killing me from the inside. And when I broke the silence, I encountered healing, which was contrary to his threats. So this is because of discovering healing and transformation, because breaking the silence around abuse, that I chose that as the second part of the name of the show. Real talk, real women, having a real conversation, breaking the silence around abuse, going back to life. This is what it means. And this is why I go that way. What is your experience, Amy, in terms of narcissistic abuse? What have you experienced?
Well, I was thinking in terms of breaking the silence, that mostly I've experienced that, it doesn't happen in certain neighborhoods. It doesn't happen in, or this is a stereotypical image. It doesn't happen in, wealthy people wouldn't have that happen. During a social service investigation from, with my children were involved in, court person said, well, they tend to go after rich white doctors. You know that, right? And it's like, I didn't take the time to explain power and racism to them. It's like, that's not the point. But I was now divorced. I've been divorced. I left him September 3rd, 2014. We remember those dates and times, right?
Yes.
It was final in February 5th, 2016. And it was a long divorce, long relationship. But it took years of therapy to even realize that it was narcissistic abuse. I remember a therapist handing me a piece of paper and saying, highlight everything that you've experienced. And then looking at the piece of paper and thinking, wow, I highlighted everything. But it was, little things in the beginning. And then as I got healthier, more assertive, it built and built and built, and it became big things. And then I realized, during the divorce process, it became bigger and bigger and bigger. It was the finances, and then it was the, using children against me. And it just got bigger and bigger. But we're kind of past that. And my children don't have anything to do with them anymore. And, receive that healing and successfully doing everything without him. And that's been kind of the real saving grace.
How amazing is that? Thank you for sharing. I think it's important that we hear you as well, because we are both sharing that common background, healing after narcissistic abuse. And it's a long, sinuous, meanders path. It's not an easy straight line at all. We go through all kinds of emotions, but it is so worth it. To heal and transform, it is so worth it. And when we start again to learn and to grow and to outgrow ourselves, wow, we feel that life is coming back within us. We feel that suddenly we can do everything we want. We feel that we are suddenly all powerful, almighty in a certain way.
Right. And there were so many little things, like remember unclogging the washer, and I came running out of the hall and I was like, I did it. And then changing overhead lights and just doing all those little things and feeling just so empowered. And so now, like the saying around the house is when I do something by myself or, changing a tire, I'm like, who's your daddy? But it is empowering. We're really like, we can do anything.
Exactly. And then exactly. So that means that suddenly we are free to also talk for 2 hours with a girlfriend without fearing any retaliation because we are not giving them full attention all the time. That makes a huge difference.
Yeah, or to go to bed early or just to go out and run an errand or to do anything for ourselves. You don't realize what those things are like until you start doing them. I was talking on an earlier episode about when I moved at where I am now, I started taking tennis lessons. And it was something I did as a child, but stopped when I was actually dating because it took up too much time and, or took up too much of, I guess, the time devoted toward him. And then I was like, okay, what else can I do? So I started playing soccer again. And then I took a baking class and just little things that were for me. And it felt so good because I didn't have anyone to answer to, which sounds silly. But in that moment, I was like, I don't have to ask permission. And now I kind of laugh about it because it sounds silly. But in that moment, it was so empowering.
Actually, it is not silly at all because one of the big things they do is power and control. They request you to ask them for their blessing and permission for almost anything.
Yeah.
So now there is also a healthy way of having a healthy relationship, which is naturally sharing with each other our intentions to match our calendar or just to know and to care for each other, which is not really asking for permission, which is sharing with each other what we are about and what we are doing and how we can cheer up each other and how we can be the best person for each other, how we can empower each other. This is what a great relationship is about. And it's not about asking for permission. This is so different.
Yeah, that's something when working in my office with my clients that they struggle with, dating and finding new partners is if it's healthy, it feels wrong, but then questioning whether it's healthy because they're scared to not be able to recognize those red flags again. So I think it's a real problem in trying to decide if we're ready to date or if it's a healthy relationship because of all those things.
What I would tell your clients at that level is that if you can go on a date with yourself, you are ready to go on a date with someone else. So take yourself on a date and just feel yourself out and treat yourself as well as you want the other person to treat you, because you are going to teach the other person how to treat you well. You are going to give him or her instruction. Very clear. I like that. I don't like that. I would like that. I don't want like that. You give the other person your instruction manual to how to treat you better. And by doing so, you give yourself the chance of having a great relationship. Because then if it is, I like to wear the color red, and the other person tells you, yeah, you're only allowed to wear black because you're elegant, because this is the only color that matches, because we have everything in black, you are not going to wear red in my presence. Interesting. That is a red flag to me. Globally, generally speaking. Then for one event, it can make sense. If there is a good reason for that and a dress code for that, it could make sense. But if it is a generalized, no, you are not yourself in my presence, you are the way I want you, not the way you are, reconsider. And you are better off leaving it early if this is wrong than staying in there and hoping for him to change. He will not.
Mm-hmm. Mine was, attempted an online date and the person ordered for me. I was like, I don't like that. Like, no, she'll have it. I was like, that's not what I want.
Exactly. And by saying it is not what I want, and the other person starts to look at you and say, So what do you want? Or go and throw a hissy fit. Very interesting. That allows you to know what's going on. That gives you back hope after narcissistic abuse. Because then you realize, I have again the same experience. I know that it is very familiar. You out and you stop. Right?
Yeah, like to tell a waiter, no, I'll actually have that. Just won't be seeing you again.
Exactly.
So what tips do you have for people that are looking for that transformation, that are looking for that hope, that feel that hopelessness that you felt?
The first thing of all is to know that you are not alone. This is a lie that you believe. It is not true. You know why? Because I am here for you, Amy is here for you, and many other people are here for you. You just have to reach out. If you do not reach out, how do you want people to know where you are at and that you need help and support? Your role is not to cry in a corner thinking that you are alone, as a narcissistic person tries to make you feel like. That is a lie. The truth is that we are here for you. We have gone through the same kind of issue and problem and heartache than you. We are here for you. And this is why we are doing that kind of show, to make sure that you have a chance to find one or another, someone who understands you. So you are not alone. That is the first gigantic, big things. And then you do not have to stay with that person, whatever the relationship with that person. It's not always a significant other. Sometimes it's another part of the family, or sometimes it's a boss, or something else. It does not matter the nature of the relationship. Other people can take over that role, and other people who are good. So give yourself the chance to be happy. I'm going to tell you one thing. What led me to leave my first abusive relationship is when I heard that you do not have the right to be happy. You have the duty to be happy. And when I heard that, I said, oh, but that means without him, I'm out. And I left the relationship because I realized that if I have the duty to be happy, I have to make myself happy. That means stop crying every single day because I'm so bad in his own eyes and his own understanding of the world. Let me be happy. So that would be another big, big thing.
Yeah, and we have to remember that they groomed from the beginning to tell us that we don't deserve to be happy, that we deserve them, or we're lucky to have them. And once we change that narrative in our head that, wait a minute, that's a them thing, not an us thing, then we can start gaining that ability to leave and move on, whether it's a job, a partner, a friendship, anything, but there's other options available.
Exactly. That is true.
And so, you have your podcast that offers hope. There's other resources available, but many stories of hope and recovery and life after this kind of relationship. So if you've been tuned in.
Absolutely. You can have mine at Real Talk, Real Women, Breaking the Silence Around Abuse. You will recognize my name, Gemma Serenity, and you will recognize my picture if you have it somewhere, because my picture is the logo of the podcast, same as you, Amy.
Yes, it'll be linked in the show notes. So.
Exactly. So all of that is available. And I really look forward to hearing a feedback from the audience and really hearing, yeah, I heard you and I changed my life because of that conversation you got with Amy. Okay. That means that it works.
Yes, please subscribe, leave a review, go ahead toward Gemma's podcast, and thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Thank you again for tuning in to our podcast, Hope After Narcissistic Abuse. We hope you were able to leave with some renewed hope. And if you like what you heard, please subscribe to the channel, give us a review, head to the show notes for more information on the things that we highlighted. And there's also a link to the website for a course that we offer on the same topic, Hope After Narcissistic Abuse. Thank you again, and please tune in to the next episode.